Hello there. The longer it has been since the vote on and the implementation of Brexit, the more it becomes apparent that it was somehow not a good idea. Problems are occurring in more and more areas, and now also in the protection of endangered species in zoos. Facilities that typically exchange their animals for breeding programs are now struggling to make these transfers amid high hurdles for inspection and testing. That's something The Observer reported on Sunday. Animal movements between zoos and aquariums are carefully planned to maintain a genetically healthy population, said Nikki Needham of the British Irish Zoos and Aquariums Association. According to the association, 84 animals have been transported between Great Britain and the EU so far this year, and only 56 in all of last year. Before Brexit, the average was around 1,400 animals a year. Brexit threatens the survival of individual animal species. Animals that are native to Great Britain are not affected, but exotic species such as the eastern black rhino. The British media report as a result that zoos in the UK and Europe are struggling to maintain their joint breeding programs. The reason for this are the complex checks that have been necessary at the EU's external borders since Brexit. These checks also apply to animal transport, of course. However, the British port facilities are not equipped for checking giraffes or rhinos, and these animals cannot be transported by plane. This means that the European breeding programs will probably have to do without the gene pool from British zoos. This is particularly tragic for the eastern black rhino because there are only a few specimens left, with a relatively large number living in British zoos. Has to do with the colony stuff. Among other things, the eastern black rhino is endangered, of which only a few animals exist in zoos, and as I said, many in British, according to this association. Failure of the conservation program would further endanger the species. Extensive checks and investigations have to be carried out at the borders in accordance with current EU regulations. Appropriately equipped checkpoints are not available at every border crossing, according to The Observer, so it's only at the airports, which make no sense for a lot of animals. And this makes it de facto currently impossible to exchange larger animals that can only be transported by land or water. And if a giraffe doesn't fit on a plane, that's not a good thing. According to those affected, the fact that animal transport can only take place by plane has also made the whole thing more expensive. A spokesman for the British Ministry of Agriculture blamed Brussels, of course. This shows the damage that the EU's bureaucratic approach is causing to animal and plant health. No, it's not the bureaucracy that was there all the time, it's Brexit. One is willing to negotiate a pragmatic approach, they say again, but we know this. But meanwhile, the removal trucks have driven up in Downing Street in London. The successor is to be appointed by British Prime Minister Boris Johnson in 3 weeks. And he's the one always blaming Brussels. 3 weeks before the appointment of a successor to British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, removal trucks have already been sighted in London's Downing Street. Photos released by the PA news agency showed 2 huge trucks parked in front of government headquarters. There was, speculation as to whether Johnson would take the allegedly gilded wallpaper along with the luxury furniture by designer Lulu Lytle, which he had furnished his official apartment with. In addition to other scandals, the luxurious renovation of his official residence, which was initially financed by a party donor, had brought him, a lot of trouble. And meanwhile, Johnson, who is due to step down as Prime Minister on September 6th, has been criticized for taking his second leave of absence this summer. After recently spending a holiday in Slovenia, he is now said to be in Greece. This despite a drought emergency being declared in parts of the UK and the rising cost of living putting more and more people into distress. However, Johnson's spokesman emphasized on Monday that the Prime Minister would be reached at any time for urgent decisions. And the members of the ruling Conservative Party in Great Britain are to decide by September 5th whether Foreign Minister Liz Truss or ex-Chancellor of the Exchequer Rishi Sunak should succeed him as Prime Minister, and having to deal with all the Brexit consequences that he is leaving behind as well for everybody else to take care of. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.